Rick are live on YouTube,
Barely alive.
but just barely, right? I think I got about 5 hours of sleep. Happy Wednesday morning, Bears fans. This is Rick and Eric. We are the Bears Brothers podcast. Today, Rick, we had a chance to breathe. We've had about 48 hours, or a little bit less than 48 hours, since the Bears Vikings game. We purposely did not go on here right away because we didn't want to get too heated over the game or too depressed over week one. But we do have a lot to talk about. What are your initial thoughts about week one against the Minnesota Vikings at home Monday Night Football?
Well, after I got my voice back from screaming and after I can see out of my eyes from all the crying, um, I think my biggest takeaway is look at all the new faces we have and look at all the same problems we have. How is that possible? How is it possible that we brought in so many new people and yet we're dealing with things we've seen for going back to Justin Fields, going back to 2020, 2021? It's like watching the same, it's like Groundhog Day. Here's new people, but they're going to do the same things. It's the weirdest, most frustrating combination ever.
Yeah, you almost think that like Soldier Field and the Chicago Bears sometimes like have a curse, but also remember it is week one. It's the same thing. The reason why it's the same thing is because we've been seeing the same things over and over again. We talked about this before with like we have a new coach who didn't draft that quarterback. We have a new quarterback that didn't have that coach. We have a new GM that didn't hire that coach or that quarterback, right? So it's just this long process of the same exact carousel ride that we've been on. And so this is going to take time just like anybody else. The hope is that given time this will actually all work out in the end, but nevertheless, the Bears did lose to the Vikings 27-24 after we thought at the end of the first half. I mean, I wasn't really too excited at the end of the first half because it was still pretty close. But after that pick six, I was like, oh man, we actually might like pull this off. We might steal this victory like what you predicted before the game. And this could be something that's really key for our season to get a divisional win.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was only one touchdown away, right? Had they not scored another touchdown, it would have been 24-20, and I would have the score exactly right. Um, I I think going back to what I just talked about, things being the same, different but the same, it almost feels like a cultural thing that as things started to go badly, there were so many players that have been on the team from last year who went, "Oh no, here we go again. The wheels are falling off. It's the fourth quarter. We just gave up a touchdown. Oh no, we're blowing it." And everyone tightened up, and and the new guys were like, "I don't get what's going on here." And unfortunately, one of the old guys is our leader. It's Caleb, so he's doing one of these throwing his hands up, looking up to the sky, pouting a little bit. And it's like, hey man, get yourself together, like calm down. And on the other side, you got JJ McCarthy, who doesn't have nearly the talent, who doesn't have the experience. The only experience he has is he just wins everywhere he goes. And so he just sat back and said, okay, well, I'm going to take that pick six and I'm going to go throw that away. That happened. Let's move on. Let's move forward. And he did. And that was a big difference, I think.
Well, not only that, but he also was able to learn and see that even with Sam Darnold, the Vikings won 14 games. So you're right, that is a cultural thing, and they have to develop some kind of winning attitude. But if you're watching 14 games of winning, you're seeing the defense bail out the offense if needed. You're seeing the offense step up if needed, and you're a national champion. That is going to do something to your mental mindset. And I think the biggest thing that the Bears need to do, especially after week one, is that they have to develop that culture of we need to have a winning mindset. And it takes a lot more to get a winning mindset than it does for a team to fall off the hinges and then have a losing mindset based on the history of ever since watching sports as a kid. It's a lot harder to climb that ladder than it is to fall off. So we're in for a long haul here for sure, especially since we had such a disappointing loss. It seemed like we just gave that win away. And it's really heartbreaking when it's at home against your divisional opponents. But first, what we'll do is we'll get into the likes and dislikes of what we saw. Again, we have 48 hours. It's not like we're heated or anything like that. We've had time to kind of recover and just like think about this kind of objectively as possible. And I always like to start with things that I really enjoyed about the game because this was way better than last year, I think, especially last year, week one, where it was just a debacle. But on defense, Rick, can you give me one thing that you really liked on defense that you saw from the Chicago Bears?
Now I'm going to forget his name, but 55 was all over the field, and it's nice to have someone on the opposite side of Sweat that can make teams have to pay attention to him. Now, unfortunately, he was a little too aggressive at times, and that had some penalties called on him and some mistakes that happened. I remember there was a specific play where he ducked in instead of maintaining contain, and they were able to get around him for a first down. But it was nice to see someone playing at that speed and that level on defense.
Yeah, Odengbo is the defensive end from
Thank
the
you.
Indianapolis Colts. No problem. That's what I'm here for. But yeah, he didn't show up at all in the preseason, and all of a sudden now he is showing up. And he even told the crowd when he got a sack, he was like, "No, no, no, shh, you guys all hated me," kind of thing. It was a pretty fun like little thing to see on TV. Um,
Now we're
I got
like, oh, dang, Bo, you know?
Yeah, right? I really liked, Wright, the cornerback. When you're facing Justin Jefferson and you're a 3rd corner and you are going up against the best wide receiver in the entire league, and you end up doing like, Justin Jefferson's gonna get his yards, he's gonna get his catches, but it wasn't where he was just all over the place and scoring and catching the ball at will. He even had a pick six. Kept at that point in time, again, we thought that the game would have been over. The Bears can pull this out, and it was because of him. And I thought it was very interesting on ESPN how they said, wait, he faced Justin Jefferson as on the practice squad every single game. And Justin Jefferson told him, don't hold back. Make sure that you play me as hard as you possibly can. And I think that he learned a lot from that. And it was good to see that we have depth at a position where normally we haven't had anybody to step up. And if you lost somebody like a Jalen Johnson, you're like, oh boy, this is over.
Yeah, because I mean, we were already so short staffed in the secondary, and I mean, and he doesn't. This name isn't called very often, but that tackle Owens made on the 2 point conversion too. That was nice to see. I mean, he took down a big guy in the open field by himself. And had the Bears had any time left at the end of the game, they might have been able. That 2 point conversion might have made a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Jonathan Owens is a good piece to have for sure on the team. What didn't you like about the Chicago Bears defense, Rick?
I didn't particularly like that they didn't get quick pressure on the quarterback with their 4 man front often enough. It happened a couple times throughout the game, but especially when you're weak in the secondary, you really need them to step up. And I'm not sure if it's the right rotation. I'm not sure if it's the right stunts they're pulling or not pulling. But they were playing a rookie quarterback, and we should have been rattling his cage a lot more, especially near the end. I think we got a little bend but don't break, and a little bit back on our heels. So we don't want to make a mistake here, and that just led to more mistakes happening, more miscommunications in the defensive backfield, having Sewell run after a running back down the sidelines, and he's no business trying to cover. And those kinds of things happen, I think, because they couldn't get the consistent pressure up front that they need.
Yeah, I would agree. I think in the first half they put a lot of pressure on them, and then in the second half, the running game for the Minnesota Vikings eventually took over, and that's where
And maybe that's why.
I saw a lot of Garrett, the guy who I believe his name is Garrett, who was signed to be a run stuffer, and he wasn't. So
No.
it was very disappointing to see that and to give up 21 points in the last quarter. It doesn't matter what the offense is doing. That's just unacceptable. You can't have that. When you have a lead of 17-6, Lance Briggs said this on a podcast, like you have to defend that. And when you give up 21 points in one quarter, that is just unacceptable and something that cannot be tolerated. On offense, I'm going to start first with the likes on offense, and it's a little bit hard to come up with something because you can say like the first drive was cool. You can say like the second to last drive was cool. Here's what I'll say, and it's kind of an outside of the box thinking. I liked the play calling for the most part, except when they got really conservative. But I'll say this. I don't think Ben Johnson should change the offense whatsoever. He's got a great route concepts. People were open. Last year, you saw when Caleb Williams held onto the ball, everyone was just running a curl and completely blanketed. He had nowhere to throw the ball. This time, at least, you see people open. This Caleb Williams need to do a better job at finding those open people and making it a lot more simple and slowing down for a second. Yes. So I do like the coaching. I do like the play calling. I can see it open up, and I can see a lot of people getting a lot of yards in the future. It just has to connect with Williams. So that's what I like about the offense. Rick, what about you?
Yeah, I guess I'm going to go with two small things. That catch by Komet was outstanding over the middle, right near the end of the game.
So good.
Uh, I mean, I just feel like we could use him more of as a guy that we just go, well, I don't know what's going on in this play, but just throw it to Komet and hope for the best. Because I think he's going to come down with more than he won't. I also liked Swift's running near the end. I think they could have utilized that a bit more because his yards after first contact were kind of amazing for a guy that's not really known for that. And he really was turning a 2 yard run into a 4 yard run pretty consistently.
Yeah, yeah, at the end of the game, especially, he did pretty well. I still want to see some more holes, but like Ben Johnson said in the press conference, you were facing a top five running defense in the league last year, and they improved the interior defensive line again. So that's going to be tough, like no matter what, right? So I would like to see a couple more running backs get a couple more shots, but yeah, swiftness. His character, his toughness is something that is never going to be questioned in my book. So I do enjoy having DeAndre Swift on the team. I think that there's going to be a couple times where he's going to make sure that they win some ball games rather than somebody that gives something up, which is good.
Yeah.
Special teams, and we'll combine special teams and coaching if you want to, right? Anything that you liked about the special teams? Let's make it fun and light.
I mean, Duvernay looks like he's going to be a good returner. I
Yes.
mean, he didn't do anything outstandingly special, but he didn't make any mistakes. He didn't fumble the ball. He didn't muff a punt. He, you know, made a few people miss. Got us a better field position than you would have just by kneeling the ball. So I mean, it's leaps and bounds above Velvis Jones, whose name I still remember because I mean, if he wasn't missing the ball, he was fumbling it. So I'm so glad it's not him anymore.
Velvis. I love it. It's Bayless, but Velvis is a lot funnier. He doesn't
You know what?
deserve to know the real name.
No, he doesn't.
I agree.
God, I
I think
hate
that
that guy.
that was
I hated that guy so much. That guy, every time he's really fast. Yeah, you can be really fast. If you don't have the ball, it doesn't matter. If you left it behind you.
right. Hey, I bet. I hate that guy. Um, yeah, I agree. I think that the likes for me was definitely the return men. I think that punt returns and kick returns. I like Luther Burden back there as well.
Yeah, I'd
Um,
like to see more of him too.
Yeah, I know it's Wednesday, and I know we're not supposed to get like really heated, but man, this is the one thing that like, oh my goodness, the special teams. I hated the special teams, loathed with my entire being, right? First of all,
Yeah,
Torrey Taylor takes forever to punt the ball. It is slower than a snail crossing the sidewalk. I was actually surprised that they only had one punt block. I really was. And I was really, really surprised that it was only the tip. I thought it was going to be like three punt blocks because it takes forever to get the snap. Then he takes forever to do it. And then when he's supposed to kick it at a fourth round pick and he's supposed to be this punting guru out of Iowa and he knows exactly how to pin it deep, he kicks it all out of bounds at the 18-yard line. Or he kicks line drive kicks where he's supposed to be somebody who kicks it really, really high. The guy just makes a fair catch. The gunner goes boogity boo, right? And maybe gets a fumble, something like that. But no, he just kicked line drive kicks after like the taking forever. And somehow the defense, the return coverage still allowed the player to get 20, 25 yards. It was absolutely disgusting. And then I'll talk about Cairo Santos in a second. But if you want to take Cairo Santos, that's fine. Can't do it.
no, I mean, I think it goes back to the culture thing I was just talking about. I think he takes so long to kick the ball because he's trying to make a play. He's saying, "This is all I got to help this team win. I'm going to boot this ball so far that they're going to be pinned back inside the 20." It's like, dude, maybe we don't need to do that every time. Maybe you need more precision. Put it here, put it there. Relax. He's trying to do his darndest to be like, "This is what I'm brought here to do, and I'm going to kick the snot out of that ball." And you're out kicking your coverage. By the time they get down there, homeboy was 10 yards up the field in full speed. And it was Miles was his name, right? I mean, it seemed like he was running at 100 miles an hour before anyone even got near him.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. We could talk about Santos. He should have kicked the ball out of bounds or kicked the ball in the back of the end zone. If he's telling
I
his
don't think
coach,
he can. I think that's the problem. I don't think Santos can kick it that far.
right. And here's the thing, I didn't know a lot about the kickoff rules because I'm still getting used to this whole like new
Yeah,
setup. It's
definitely.
wild. It's weird. I hate it. But at the same time, apparently, like if you just kick the ball out of bounds, the Vikings get the ball at the 40. But there's no time taking off the clock.
Yeah, and you got to stop him for 10 yards anyway. So, I mean, field position, what does it really matter at that point? What's
Correct.
the difference
Yeah.
between them being at the 25 or 30 and the 40? It really makes no difference. You just got to get the ball back in your hands.
Yeah, and their punter wasn't doing a very good job anyway. He had a like what's it called, like a muffed punt, right, where he only got it like 20 yards. So the Bears got the ball with 15 seconds left at like the 20. You can get the ball with 56 seconds left at like the 15 or 10. You're in a much better spot.
Yeah, I mean, you're still not in a great spot, but much better. Yeah.
Way better, way better. Anyway, that's it about like the likes and dislikes. I do want to pause for a second, Rick. And last podcast, we said that if somebody donated $18.17 after Caleb Williams and Tyson Bagent, you gave me this beautiful gift right here, this bottle of Malort's. And if somebody don't make that donation, I would have to do a shot. Well, someone made that donation, Rick.
It's noon somewhere.
Oh, it's not going to happen today. There's no
Oh,
way. No, it's going to happen on Sunday. But
oh,
I
okay.
will be doing this on Sunday. A shot of Malort's, which, for again, if you remember the last pod, is apparently something that tastes like tire water left in a park for days. And if you've ever wondered how that tastes, I'm going to find out on Sunday. So be sure to join us live on Sunday on the pod.
With a hint of grapefruit if you want to, be nice about it. Hey, you know what? I'll join you. I got my bottle I bought last week. I'm ready to go.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. No, I'm not going to do any like grapefruit or chaser. I'm gonna take it. I'm 40. I'm
We don't need a
40.
grapefruit shake there. There's a hint of grapefruit in the tire water. I mean, give it its props. It's got some flavor.
Oh, okay, so it's classy.
Yeah, grapefruit classy.
Grapefruit classy. Yeah,
That was my nickname in high school.
Okay. I thought it was something else, but something I can't say on live here. But yeah, so we will be doing a shot of Malort's on Sunday morning to then use as fuel for the fire while we watch the Bears Lions game this Sunday in Detroit. Um,
We
before we
haven't
get
gotten to
into
our likes yet or dislikes yet.
what's that?
We didn't get to our dislikes on offense and defense yet.
We got a little bit on as far as oh yeah, we didn't get off offensive dislikes. You're right. Do you want to go first on offense for dislikes?
Yeah, I mean, I figured we're both going to say something about Caleb. I'll let you, since you played the position, talk about that. Since I played offensive line in the one eighth grade year I played football, credentials. I will say that I was disappointed a little bit in the interior. You've got all these new guys, and it didn't look like communication was right. And that's something that we should have known. We bring three new dudes into an offensive line. And part of being an offensive lineman is not only knowing your assignment, but knowing the other people's assignment, how they move, what they do. And it felt disappointing to watch them not play as well as I thought they would. But then you have to realize, yeah, whenever they put a new kid next to me when I was playing offensive tackle, that new guard, I was like, dude, why'd you go that way? And he's like, I don't know. I thought that's where I had to go. Like you're still learning a new system. You're still learning each other. I want to see that be much better. Disappointing that it wasn't as good as it was, but I understand why.
Yeah, I think that the offensive line was something that definitely needs to have their own communication for sure, and making sure that they can get on the same page. Because right now, especially between the center and guard, Dahlman and Jackson, that looked like they had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
Tooney looked just fine, but Jackson, the entire game, even when he was called for a false start, he just looked like somebody who was he. It
Well,
looked like he didn't even know where he was.
that's my biggest dislike. How do you have four false start penalties at home? It's not like the crowd noise is the problem. What are you doing if you have four false start? I mean, talk about all the penalties you want. There were 12 for 100 and some odd yards or whatever. Some of those were obviously bullshit calls that we both thought that holding on rights and some of the pass interference. But four false start penalties is 40 yards. That's like a third of the yards you give up was just dumbness. Ugh.
Yeah, we'll talk about the holding call against Wright in a second. That was absolutely terrible. As somebody is sawing something at 10:40 a.m. on a Wednesday, keep it down. We're trying to film something. Anyway, what I didn't like about the offense was Caleb Williams moving way too fast. He is getting off of his number one read like within like 2 milliseconds, right? And if that's the case, you then go to your second read. Of course, it's not going to be open because the second read is something that you weren't supposed to then shift to. The first read is going to be somebody that you can see, that you can just follow. And it's just something that's simple. And if he's moving way, way too fast, you're not going to catch it And then, of course, you're going to want to scramble out because you're like, nobody's open, but you didn't take the 1 second to just see the first read. And that person's going to be open many times because, again, Ben Johnson knows what the F he's doing. So
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing that I didn't like. Of course, the penalties were absolutely terrible. Of course, the accuracy was awful. But again, he's moving way too fast. He needs to slow the F down.
and I think the accuracy issues go back to the culture of losing again. He was trying to make a play and the balls were sailing on him.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. Let's actually go on to let's keep going about this the Caleb Williams talk because the other thing, I got a text from one of my friends. His name is Zach. Shout out to Zach. He goes, "Here's my hot take about Caleb Williams after seeing him for one season in one game. He's too short. He's 6'1". He can't really see over the line, and so therefore he can't really trust like his reads, which is an okay take. I get that. There's a reason why you want to draft a quarterback that's a little bit taller. But then I reminded him, I was like, wait, Drew Brees is only 6 foot. Russell Wilson was 5'11" and like 3/8 or whatever kind of thing. But here's the difference. I started looking at film with Drew Brees again. And one of the things that the Saints did that was pretty genius was that when you have a pocket, they let the two tackles get the defensive ends upfield so that way you now have a nice little throwing lane between the guards and the tackles for Drew Brees to see. Now, Drew Brees was also very accurate. He was also somebody that knew the game really well. He was a student of the game and he had a good touch on his throw. That's three things that Caleb Williams absolutely needs to work on. But if you are somebody who can't see over the line, then you need to have your offensive line manipulate the defense so that way you can create these throwing lanes. Right. So I get that argument, but at the same time, that's something that's like pretty easily fixable. The other things, that's going to hopefully get fixed, but it will take some time. And I really hope, like, I'm always somebody that sympathizes and empathizes with a quarterback because I know it's the toughest position in all of sports. And when you're drafted number one and you are a star, you're the chosen one, you're the generational talent, there's going to be a lot of pressure on you to perform. But let's not forget, Rick, coaching matters to any quarterback whatsoever. And the offensive line matters to any quarterback whatsoever, no matter the skill. Caleb Williams, in 18 games that he has played, has had four different offensive coordinators. You
Crazy.
cannot do anything with four different offensive coordinators and expect it to just be absolutely amazing. You cannot.
Yeah, I mean, you talked a little bit too about the expectations. I mean, I think that was the difference between the two quarterbacks too, right? The expectations of JJ McCarthy is, hey, don't don't let this devolve into a total shit show. Whereas Caleb Williams' expectation is win the Super Bowl. Like that's two very different expectations on these guys, and it allows them to play looser, faster, more confident. All those different adjectives you want to use. And everyone's coming out of this game like, "Whoa, JJ McCarthy looked pretty good in that fourth quarter." I mean, great. I don't think moving forward you're going to expect JJ McCarthy to be the next Tom Brady. But yeah, he looked fine in the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? Like, but the expectations of Caleb is he missed like four passes. He's inaccurate. He can't throw. He can't do anything. It's like, well, okay, he missed four passes, but I've seen games where in the Super Bowl where the starting quarterback comes out and misses a few balls because they're jumping, they're excited, and they're a Super Bowl quarterback. It happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that JJ McCarthy, for as good as he played in the fourth quarter, give him props to that. He was awful in the first three quarters and he looked like a
Terrible.
rookie.
Yeah.
So it is something where I also think that being the number one quarterback and being somebody that was on social media a lot and stuff like that, you're going to get a lot of people hating, and you're going to have to either like, hey, this is who I am, I'm going to rise to it, or I'm going to have to dial it down a little bit and just focus on football, like whatever it is. I still think that he can. I think that slowing down is coachable. I think that moving too slowly is very, very difficult to coach out of. So I think dialing him back down a second or a click is going to be just fine. Here's what I am panicked about though with Williams. I'm really, really scared about the relationship between him and DJ Moore. I think, well,
Elaborate.
think about it. Think about it, right? So DJ Moore plays with Justin Fields. He's got over 1,000 yards. DJ Moore gets on the mic and says, I don't think that the two guys that are in the top of the draft class are anything better than Justin Fields. I want Justin Fields. And the two guys were Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. So immediately you have Caleb Williams thinking, oh, okay, he thinks that I'm like not as good as Justin Fields, who I just replaced, but I'm the number one guy. I'm the chosen one kind of thing. Cut back to the next year, DJ Moore's just kind of walking off the field. He's not getting the targets, right? And then you look at something where the disconnect of the throws that Caleb Williams had, two of them in particular. Then you have two passes where DJ Moore was the number one receiver. There was a seam down the middle on the first drive, as well as a corner route, I think, on the second drive. DJ Moore should have had two touchdowns on 140 yards catching on Monday night, but there's some kind of disconnect there. There's something going on in that huddle that DJ Moore or Caleb doesn't like. They need to fix that real quick, because otherwise you're just putting dead weights into a $110 million receiver who's really good.
Speaking of dead weight, too, the one ball he did get to him late in the fourth quarter was a hospital ball. He almost put him right in the ambulance right there in the field with that throw.
That was really, really bad. That was
That
really
didn't make
bad.
the relationship much better. Hey, thanks
Right.
for getting me killed out there.
Right. Yeah. And speaking of which, there were some definitely some key plays going on, and that's something I want to do a couple times during this season is pick a couple key plays during the game that really just influenced the entire game. And we're at the 26-minute mark, so we'll keep it to one key play for both you and I. Rick, what is your like biggest key play of the game that like really changed things, and it was like a microcosm of how the game went?
Well, I'll go real quick because we've already touched on it. It was the block punt. I mean, that was in the fourth quarter. The momentum was starting to go their way a little bit, but we could have reined it in. And I think that was the thing that made everyone go, "Here we go again, a block punt. I can't believe this is happening of all things." And they got the ball like the 40, went right down the field in a few plays and scored a touchdown. And that I think right there really sealed the deal as far as the Bears' psyche and the fans' psyche was. Or even at home, I was like, "Here we go, we're blowing it again on a dumb block punt kind of play."
Yep. Yeah, that was definitely a momentum shift for sure. Because if you give somebody who's already feeling a bit of momentum a short field, and you have a defense that's getting a little bit gassed and a little bit tired, absolutely. Um, I don't want to go to cheap route, but I'm gonna just yell at the people with the black and white stripes. It's the end of the third quarter. The Bears are on like the 25-yard line. Caleb Williams throws it to the flat to DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift gets a first down, gets out of bounds at the 12-yard line. It was 17-6. Everything is looking amazing. We're about to score a touchdown here, or at least the field goal. But if we score a touchdown in the beginning of the fourth quarter, it's 23-6. That is game over, lights out. Everything's done. Bears win. We all drink Malort. We have a good time. But for some asinine reason, the people in the black and white stripes see Darnell Wright's kind of touch his defender. The defender falls. Darnell Wright falls on him, and they think that's a holding call. And then it implodes from there. Second down, third down, there was that intentional grounding, right? And then they miss a 50-yard field goal. And now all of a sudden, everything is deflated from the offense. Now, could they have done it even with the first down? Sure. But at the same time, that's a massive, massive play that was just, I was, what? I was flabbergasted.
Yeah, I think the announcers were as flabbergasted as you were. I mean, Troy Aikman was almost speechless. I will
Yeah,
say though that that did lead to probably the most hilarious grounding penalty I've ever watched in my entire watching of NFL career, as he's basically tripping over himself and throwing it like a mermaid kind of coming out of the water, and he gets it maybe half a yard. It was the most it was super depressing to watch in the moment, but watching the replay, it is absolutely hilarious.
he looked like a salmon trying to go back upstream. It was bad. It was
It was
bad.
that was maybe one of the, that's if I had to take a play from that game and say what was the most embarrassing part of the Bear season so far, it would be that. It would be him tripping over his own feet and flailing about and throwing a ball a half a yard.
Yeah, as my high school football coach once said, whenever someone tripped in the middle of the field, he goes, "Hey, watch out for that blade of grass; it'll get you."
I mean, I'm sure he stumbled over somebody or someone pushed him or something leading into the but
Yeah,
the framing of the shot is just him sort of falling with no one around and throwing the ball to nothing. It was having 2 days to digest it. It is now funny. Up
Right.
until this moment, it was seriously depressing and aggravating, but now it's hilarious.
Well, listen, here's the other thing too that I want to put into perspective. Like you predicted, and you predicted 8-9, 9-8. I predicted 9-8 for the season. So you're gonna have ups and downs. It's not like the Bears are going to the playoffs this year. That's not what we're predicting. We're also not
No,
predicting like a 5-12 season. So we're gonna have these times. And if we're gonna have these times and we're gonna celebrate the wins and love it, we might as well laugh at the cluster fluces that happen and show up in the beginning of the season.
isn't that the you coined last year? The team was just a big cluster flus.
That's exactly what it was. You have the cluster Eberflus, and that's what came out. And we talk about the culture. The Eberflus culture kind of still is sticking with them. There's still a bit of like a hangover, like a breakup kind of thing, where they're still thinking about their ex girlfriend. But that's hopefully that goes away, but at least have some fun. If you, I really hope that somebody online just like dubs Caleb Williams with like a mermaid or a salmon trying to like swim upstream because that was pretty bad, but also like you said, depressing. But we're over it. We're done with it.
I mean, we have to move on. I mean, what else are we gonna do?
I mean, we're just fans anyway, so it's like if we don't move on, that's pretty kind of weird.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
So
it's not like we were playing. Like
yeah,
it would
exactly.
have been way
Right.
worse.
Yeah, and we can celebrate how awesome, like the Cole Kmet catch, absolutely amazing, right? But we can
That was
also,
one of the most amazing catches. Yeah, that was amazing.
oh, so good. We can also say like Caleb Williams, dude. Oh boy, somebody's gonna definitely take that one. So Bears Vikings over, week one done. But one thing I wanted to say, Rick, before that, you said that the Bears would only score about 14 to 17 points on offense, and then they would have a score on defense, so a total of 24 points. Congratulations, Rick. You are the mastermind of all masterminds when it comes to Bears Monday Night Football. It was absolutely amazing. I will let you take the floor, sir. Have your moment of, well, not grace, just have your moment of glory.
Well, it's so hard because I want to have a moment of glory, but the number one thing I didn't predict was that they would lose the game. I predicted that all those things would happen and that they would win. So, sort of like, you know, throwing for 400 yards in a game and losing the game, the quarterback's upset. I'm upset. I'm upset with my prosticination abilities that I got exactly right how they would score on offense, exactly right what they would do on defense, and I also think I got exactly right when we said that the Vegas odds were that he was going to throw right around 214 or 215, and I said that's exactly what he was going to do. And what did he end up with? Like
Yeah,
212, 210? Yeah,
211, 212 was right there.
every single thing right except for the thing that matters, winning the game. And so I think that's how the Bears should feel. That hey, you had a great opening drive. You played great on defense despite being down several corners. Your new return man looks good. You lost, so it doesn't that's what matters most about what happened. We lost the game. And
Yeah, and
so
if, sorry, go ahead.
I lost our podcast, Eric.
Well,
I played
yeah,
well, I played hard, and in the end, I lost. And I gotta own that.
you know
So
what?
I have to do a shot of Malort with you when you do yours because I didn't earn not doing it.
First of all, the amount of times that we mention Malorts, they really just need to sponsor us. Also, yeah, hopefully, just like this podcast, the coaching staff just takes a look at the film, says that we're about 3 or 4 plays away from actually
Yeah.
having like a really good game. So, Rick, it's okay, man. We were like 2 or 3 clips away from having a really good podcast. So we just have to get better. We have to get better. We're 0-1 right now.
Yeah, and it seems like it's this time near the end where we kind of blow it. We run out of steam. We start talking about nothing. We mention Malort 1,000 times. It's like, hey guys, you've gone off the rails here. You've lost it. The wheels have fallen off.
Whoa, 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 I disagree. People love banter back and forth. Anyway, let's move on from week one. It's now on to week two. We'll do a short preview of the game, a little bit of okay, here we go. We're gonna go into Ford Field in Detroit, a ruckus madhouse in there. First game with Ben Johnson. It sounds like the players of the Lions are kind of like looking forward to this game because they don't like the fact that Ben Johnson left. Ben Johnson is calling his shot in the preseason, saying that he can't wait to go beat the Lions. But there's a lot of work to be done, Rick. What are we thinking? First impression about the Bears Lions game in Ford Field.
I mean, I got to go back and look at it because I only got to watch the first half of the Lions Packers game. I missed the second half, but man, they did not look like the Detroit Lions of the past couple of years. Um, Goff looked off. That was accidental. The defense looked like they were being gashed left and right. So is it that the Packers are really good, or is it the lines have fallen off? I mean, it's only week one, so it's hard to say. I want to look at it a little bit more. I mean, Montgomery still looked good, but they just something seemed off with them. Now, again, they're at home, and the Bears didn't look like world beaters on week one either. So my early thoughts on this game are it's not going to be pretty. My early thoughts on this game is like a 27-10 Lions victory or something like that. But I kind of want to look at it deeper. I want to see what our injury report's going to be. If any of our players are going to come back, if they've got anyone injured, I want to take a look at that Packers game a little closer. I mean, what are your thoughts right now?
My thoughts is that it's going to be ugly. It's not going to be fun at all. It's going to be something where it's like, hey, do I have any chores that I need to do right now?
And gotta be
Anything on
folding laundry in the back. We'll have this on in the background. Yeah.
Yeah, anything on the honey-do list, that I need to get done? Because based on what I saw yesterday, I mean, listen, again, it's much better than week one last year.
Yeah, week
It's
one they won in spite of themselves. Not for lack of trying. They said Levis was just like, "Here you go, have the Bill win." I guess I don't know. We don't want it either.
Exactly, and you can say like, okay, so Ben Johnson knows the Detroit Lions, so he knows everything. But guess what? The Lions know Ben Johnson too. They practiced against him every single day, so it's like that's kind of a wash, right? And then you look at the
Yeah.
roster. Who's got the better roster? And it's clearly the Detroit Lions. Who's got the winning culture, like we talked about? It is clearly
Bill.
the Detroit Lions. Who has the better intangibles when it comes to things like special teams, little plays, discipline? It is definitely the Lions. So when you look at three advantages for the Lions, and they have home field advantage, we can't even use a hard count because they won't be able to hear it anyway. We've screwed
No.
that up, so we can't even get out of our own way. I think it's going to be pretty darn ugly. I think it's going to
Yeah,
be, if there's any points from the Bears, it's going to be garbage time. That's my first initial thought.
yeah, me too. I think we agree on that one. I thought I don't. Going into the season, I didn't think this was a winnable game, and after week one, I definitely don't think it's a winnable game.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say as well. We all thought that the Bears were going to lose to the Lions in the first time. That's because it was in Detroit. Now we have even more reasons right now to feel this way, which is legit. It's of course, if the Bears wants to be something different, then they're going to have to figure out in their own huddle. They're not going to watch us like talk about them or whatnot. They have to figure it out in their own locker room. They have to develop that.
It'd be so cool if they were watching us.
Yeah, one day, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be like retired though and sitting at a bar in Chicago, right? And going like, huh, I wonder what the archives of podcast world thought. Who are these two random guys?
By the way, quick story. Speaking of players that are retired sitting in bars in Chicago, remember the entire '85 team was in town to be celebrated at halftime, and
Yeah.
one of them came to my bar on Monday. He
Really?
was he was petting a dog that was sitting at the front of the bar because the bar I work at has a hotel that's dog friendly next to it, and the dog's name is Bear. And he's petting the dog, and he says, "What's this dog's name?" And my regular says, "Oh, his name's Bear." And he goes, "Oh, I was a bear once." And then she looked and saw the Super Bowl ring on his finger, and said, "Wait, who are you?" And he said, "Tim Reitman." And I turned, I went, "Tight end." Then I proceeded to get his jersey number wrong. But he looked at me, he goes, "Hey, you ever seen one of these before?" And he puts his Super Bowl ring right in my face. I said, "Not this close." And he took it off and handed it to me. So
No.
Monday morning, I had a Super Bowl ring, a 1985 Bears Super Bowl ring in my hand, and then tried it on my finger, and then gave it to my regular, and she put two of her fingers into it was so massive. He's a huge dude. I had no idea Tim Wright was so big. And then yeah, he casually walked away like, "Hey, go Bears." It was awesome.
So for those people who don't follow sports and they just caught themselves in a sports podcast for a second, that's like if the one ring was given to you and it was like Peter Jackson's one ring. Not
Except
quite.
there's like 100 of them, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, except there's more than one
Only
ring.
100. I mean,
So that analogy didn't quite work, but you get it, right? Like that's
yeah,
something where
yeah.
like you were what, 6, 7 when the
7,
Bears won the Super Bowl? You were 7.
yeah.
So it's like you saw that whole city coming together, the family coming together, everything going like so great. And it kind of like when you see that ring, it reminds you of that nostalgia and of that time where it was like, man, this is like really, really cool. Plus, it's just something that literally represents nice. Yeah, the old Stein there. Let's go. It literally also represents just the fact that one day we might be able to be happy about this team and just like having a lot of fun while they're winning. We'll have fun if they win or lose. We'll have a lot of laps, but if they can pull that off and have something like that, that is really, really special and cool. And plus, it's just a lot of fun to see like just how big these football players actually are in person. You're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. I met Big Cat Williams one time in a grocery store. It looked like he could pick up the cart. Like, you know how little kids have a little kid cart and then you go to get the little kid cart? It looks like you could just pick it up and mash it in your hands. He looked like he could pick up a full grocery cart and just swallow it. And it wouldn't have been, it would have been like, snack. It was massive, dude.
Right. Yeah. I mean, those are the kind of cool things that you see, kind of when you see like an actor that you really love, or an actress that you really love, or an author, or something like that. So,
Or if you bump
but
into
that's a cool
the
story,
two of us
Rick.
in the street. So,
Say that one more time.
or if they bumped into one of the two of us in the street, same thing. We understand.
Yeah, same exact thing. The dozens of people that follow us.
Yeah. No, you can't touch me.
Yeah, yeah, I'm too big for that. But that's a cool story, man. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
yeah, MC Hammer's in your head too. I get it. You can't touch this. No.
yeah, I
Oh,
got it.
oh, we did get a comment saying that somebody would like for it to hear you sing, but at least we get a dance.
No, that's I'm not singing. That's not you. No, you don't want to hear me sing. Trust me.
I mean, I don't. I know that, but where you have to
Maybe we'll
let
sing the
the
bear. Maybe we'll sing the Bears fight song if they actually win one.
hey, there we go. We'll do a shot on Malort and sing the bear fight song while I just apparently like wheeze and not really enjoy the shot. Rick, um,
Eric,
it's so funny. Rick and Eric. Our parents are really creative. But that's really it. As far as like I want to like discuss, I think that the Minnesota Viking games now is over. We will be back on Sunday morning to celebrate this little guy right here, and we'll also be back to just kind of get people excited about the game as much as possible before we see the possible debacle. But hopefully, we see something pretty cool and get something to cheer about and something to talk about again next week.
I mean, any given Sunday, right? I think this time I'd like to be super wrong about all the predictions I made. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have time to, like you said, look at the injury report, look at everything else, and like make our final predictions on Sunday. We'll go over a couple key things that need to happen for the Bears to win, or for what would happen if the Bears lose, like why they would lose. But yeah, it's gonna be fun on Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the rest of this week of work, and then Sunday kind of being a nice little reprieve from life and 3 hours of football. You can't complain about that. I mean, at least we're on TV again and we're playing. It's going to be a fun year. We might start 0-2. We might surprise people and go 1-1, but we are all watching this together. Hopefully, watching them learn and become better. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to it as always. Bear down.
All right, buddy. See you guys later. And follow us on TikTok as well as subscribe and like to this YouTube channel. And if you want to see me take another shot of that, we do have our Venmo and PayPal for Malorts. That would be at the Bears Brothers 87. I'm going to limit it to only 2 shots per pod, by the way. So $18.17. Rick, I got to go. We'll see you Sunday, buddy.
Yeah, just remember you can find us on the internets.
He's 48.
Yeah, I'm old.